Hey guys, it's Michele from Scrap Secrets and welcome to another Sketch Sunday video. So this week's sketch comes to us surprisingly from MFT. I showed you guys the sketch in the video before this. So this is what it looks like. I'm going to try to do 2 cards tonight and we're going to be using a lot of scraps. The background for this and the card bases I've already cut them down. They're the craft cardstock and I cut them down to 4 by 5, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and they are side folding cards. I think we're gonna do one top folding and then one side folding. I'm not really sure yet, but those are not scraps. Everything else you're gonna see tonight are scraps or leftover from projects. Like this right here is leftover from one of the projects. So let's get right into it. So the first thing that I used, we're going to be using some of the Bits and Pieces stamp set from Concord and 9th. We're going to use this long piece and then this short piece, and I'm going to show you how we're going to make this go all the way across, and we're only going to do 2 lines with this. Now the sketch has 3, but we're going to be using the dies that go with, let's see, they're over here somewhere. These are the geometric dies, so we're going to be using these. The dies come attached like this, so each of the shapes has the lines inside of it. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do with that. I cut these out twice, once with a light blue cardstock, once with a dark blue cardstock. And then I also cut out the 2 sentiment pieces that come with this, the high and the there. And then I'm going to show you how to use the negative pieces to line up the there. And I think I brought those up here, so I just have to find them. So just want to get started because I think this is going to be a long video. I've never tried to do 2 cards in one Sketch Sunday episode. So the first thing that we're going to do, I've already lined it up in my Stamp Perfect. I've lined up the longer stamp set, and we are going to do the darker one. So we're going to be using same ink colors that I've had just sitting on my desk. They happen to coordinate. Summer Splash for the small one, and then we're going to be using Night Shift Blue by My Favorite Things for the darker one. The Summer Splash is an MFT one. Yeah, I'm sorry, they're both MFT. I have never used these 2 stamps before, so they need to be like a little seasoned. I might have to stamp them twice. We will see. And I think a little bit at the bottom didn't get stamped. I think that I didn't align it up or the paper had moved, but that's okay. We can always either cut the bottom off a little bit, or you can just have that be uneven at the bottom. It is what it is. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be perfect. These are handmade cards, and I'd rather they look handmade than look like 100% perfect. I like to, people to see that they put time and effort into it, but it doesn't always have to, nothing has to be perfect. So now, with this, I'm going to try to stamp it one more time. It is supposed to have not a solid stamped impression on there. You're supposed to be able to see some of the paper behind it. Okay, so we'll do it 3 times just because this is a new stamp. So some of it, like this piece here, got a really, really nice stamped impression, but it's more filled in over there. So I'm going to take my Norwex cloth and I'm going to wipe off the Stamp Perfect and wipe off the stamp. And we are going to put I'm going to put this to the side, and then we're going to put the next one on. So we are going to leave room for the sentiment in the middle. So I want to have this up here a little bit. So let me just use the dies to do spacing. So it's going to look like that high there. And then this is going to go here. I'm going to put this up here. And then here are the 2 circle pieces that I cut out. So we want to do this. Okay. So we're going to want to have this here. So I'm going to have this circle piece go over top of where these 2 lines are going to meet. We're going to stamp this twice to make it look like it's a full bar going all the way across. Now this is a great way if you put something over where they overlap, or you can even actually wipe off the part of the stamp where they overlap, so because you'll get a darker color right here where the 2 lines are gonna meet. So if you're not putting something over top of it, that's a great thing to do, is just kind of wipe off the edge and it'll look like a continuous stamp. So these aren't exactly the same colors. If you have coordinating cardstock, that would be great to do, but for me, as long as it's close enough, I don't mind. So we're going to do this one 3 times, and then we are going to take it and we're going to move it, and like I said, you're going to be able to see where it's double, so you can either line it up so that it's just as close to it as possible, and you'll just have a little bit of overlap. So we're probably gonna have to do this one 3 times as well, but you guys get the idea. And then I've used my Cut-A-Bug to cut out, I left the circles together and I cut them out, and I actually, we're going to put the interior pieces back in the circle, so you're not even really gonna be able to see this. So we're gonna glue like this down, it'll go down here. This will go here. Now you can see that through, but what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna take these pieces and pop them back into place like a puzzle. So again, my lines are not straight because I'm doing this on camera. I'm doing it upside down on camera. So it's probably not the best, but I just wanted to show you guys the technique and 2 different ideas for this. So come that off. That's the one of the things that I don't like about this Stamp Perfect is that ink gets on this, just because there's no paper for this. I'm sure you can cut scraps of cardstock down to put on it, but I did not do that. So this is not the good one. Hold on one second. My good glue is on the other side of the room because I was working on some of the stuff that I showed you in the video before this. So sorry about that, guys. So we are just going to put this on fairly quickly. I'm using the Zig 2-way glue pen. If you've never seen it, there are several different versions of this. This is the, it has a chisel tip to it. There's one that has more of like a ballpoint pen to it. And I'm just using my, this is stuck to my finger because I have some glue on it. I'm just using my X-Acto knife, an old X-Acto knife, to put these in place. Now, if I could find what I did with it, and I don't know where it is, I don't see it right now, you can actually take the negative portion of what you cut the there out of. It's under here. Oh, this is why I put things on my desk and then I lose everything. But if you wanted to have it line up perfectly, which obviously mine is not going to line up perfectly, you could actually, you know, put that over there and use it like a stencil to pop the letters back in. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the E on the end, and then we're just going to work backwards, just so that the spacing looks right. I'm gonna kind of put, since that high is pretty close to the edge, we're gonna put that R. And again, this is all just gonna go back in the exact same way. If you had the stencil, if you had the negative piece, it would just be like a stencil. It may not have fit actually if I had done it that way, but I'm just making sure I spelled there right. Upside down, spelling backwards, and it's Sunday night, but I don't have to go to work tomorrow, so we have off for Martin Luther King Day. There you go. This video might be really long, so sorry guys. I'm going to try to do this as quickly as possible. And again, I'd like to do my videos more in real time, so it shows you guys how long it really does take to make cards, because I know some people are like, when people rush through it, or, you know, fast forward through some of their stuff, I know that sometimes it's good because some of the stuff, like if you're Copic coloring, you don't need to see it all, but some people don't realize really how long it does take to complete an entire card when when things are sped up. So we're just going through, and now I've done a lot of pre-planning for this. Usually when I do these videos, like you'll see I have almost everything cut out. I try to have everything within arm's reach, all of my supplies. Obviously tonight I did not do a very good job of that, but I try to have everything ready so that I don't have to waste any time going back and cutting anything out or going back and looking for things. So now we're just going to pop these pieces out. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on them, and then again, this is like this, doing this is basically exactly how you would have put the there together. You would have put it in like a puzzle. And I'm just going through and placing a little bit of glue in there. And since the circle should be symmetrical, it shouldn't matter which end I pick from. Like it doesn't matter which of these ends I started with. They should all line up. So this is all we're gonna do, and that's going to, after this is done, that's gonna complete the card. So it's a fairly simple design. I try to keep my Sketch Sunday things simple, probably about like 10-15 minutes after you've already prepared the cards to do. So they're quicker cards that you can mass produce. To mass produce them, I would probably do it in phases, do it in steps, cut out everything at once, stamp everything at once. That way you're not going back and forth. Sometimes I'll do a sample just because I don't know if I like something, and then I'll go back and mass produce it. So I tend to do that sometimes too. One of my viewers actually asked if I made one card or if I just did, if I did multiples of the cards that I make. So for these Sketch Sundays, most of the time I only do just the one card. If I like it, I will actually go back and make multiples of it. But a lot of times it's just something that I do quickly and doesn't always look perfect. So here's that one. Like there is definitely not lined up correctly. This is, it's a little crooked, but if I had more time, if it was actually upside, if I wasn't doing this upside down, I would have, it would have been a little bit straighter, and I would have made sure that I had the negative piece so that I could pop those letters back into place. But I think that it came out cute. So that's one idea for the sketch. Now I'm just trying to show you guys different ideas to come from the same sketch, because a lot of times you look at a sketch and you think it has to be done that exact same way, and that everything should be, if it's a circle that's on the sketch like there is today, there should be a circle that is in your sketch. Not necessarily true. You can do whatever shapes you want. You can do, you can trade things out. You can put a sentiment instead of where the circle was. You could do a stamped image where the circle was. It doesn't have to be a circle. A lot of times they'll just use circles because that's a common shape and it's easier to do than if you're drawing like stars or something like that. So a lot of times they'll just put a circle there, but you can do pretty much whatever you want. So I am using the MFT's Myriad Dot stencil for the background for this, and we're going to use, I think I put this one away. Let me go grab it real quick. It was the Tattered Rose Distress Oxide. So I'm going to ink the background up with this just because it's the lightest color, and we're actually going to use scraps from the piece that I made the other day, and actually they all line up. Did I do them backwards? This one might go here, but they all did line up. I promise they did. So now I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to ink very lightly in the background. When I put the stark white cardstock up with the stark white cardstock, it looked too plain, and I felt like there needed to be something on the background. And like that, I like the use of white space with that, the first card that we did. It had just enough to break up the colors. But this, it just kind of was a little, it just made it look a little boring. So we're going to use this myriad dots. It's very, very tiny random pattern of dots. They don't exactly line up. And if I don't get all of them on there, that's fine. I just kind of want to have a little bit of texture to the background. And it's very, very light. So it's not, I didn't want to use a bold color. So that's it with the Distress Oxide. So we just used that. And I'll show you guys real quick. It's very light. I'm not even sure if you guys can see this. Sorry about the lighting down here, guys. I'm really, let's see. So it's just very, very light. Let's see. Can I get it? There we go. So it's a very light dot on there. Okay. So now the first thing you want to do is want the bottom one on here. And I think we had the purple, the light purple on the end. So I'm going to line this up. And again, I'm just going to run a little bit of glue. Wrong one again. Keep picking up the one that I use for a lot of my masks. Just put some glue on the edge here so that it stays. So we're going to do that. We're going to put the next layer on. See this one? I think this was the next one. So we're going to do that, and we're just going to move it up a little bit. And you can use your grid mat to line these up. I'm not. I probably should be. Let me just put down a little bit of glue down here. I probably should be using my grid mat to line these things up, but being a little bit rebellious tonight and not worrying about it. This one does not line up. Oh, maybe it was this side. There we go. Now you don't have to make them line up. I just thought it was funny that I had these little scrap pieces around and they all happened to line up together. So we're gonna do that. Now again, you can space them out evenly. You can use your grid mat. I'm just basically eyeing things up and it kind of looks okay. It looks okay. Then I'm going to take a pair of scissors, which are, I thought I just had them. I just cut a string a couple minutes ago. Oh, they're underneath my phone case. And we're just going to chop these off at the edge. Now, you could save these little pieces. These ones for me are probably going in the trash. I don't really think that I have anything else, any other use for that. But we are going to use something that I have not used in such a long time. We're going to use Martha Stewart punches. So this is going to be our circle, and then I'm also going to be using this cupcake. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to cut the cupcake out, and these punches are really, really simple to use. I always just turn them over like this and then just punch them out. So it's going to cut out your top and your bottom piece, and then you're going to be left with that. Now what you could do is actually, so let's see, these ones are really easy. I don't see these sold in stores anymore. These are really old. I got these years and years ago when I was in my other house. If you see this slanted side, there's going to be a slanted side here. You have to make sure those line up. And then all you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put your cardstock in there. They will magnetize. And then you're going to want to push it down. And this is probably why you haven't seen them in a long time. Oh, that didn't cut out very evenly. I don't know if it's because it's not on, because it was on this glass mat. Let me try doing it on the table, because that didn't, I was afraid I was going to break the glass mat. There. It's a little bit better. That was a little bit more even. So what you can do, to the side, is you could also take this. Let's see. This is the worst one. It's probably the better one. You could actually put this in here. If you could line it up, I think if you could probably put a handle on the end of it, and you could put this in and you could actually punch the cardstock out of here. So let's see, probably isn't right in the middle. let's see. You could do that if you had done it evenly, and then put this on here. You could probably have punched it out first in the middle and then lined this circle up back here and then punched it out there. So there's a couple different ways you could do it, but what I think I want to do is I actually have the Distress Oxides out, the other Distress Oxides, and I kind of want to do some of the other colors. So I want to ink these up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a scrap piece of, if you saw the video before, you'll know what these are from. So we're going to start off the paper. I'm just going to kind of put a little bit of purple. This is the Wilted Violet Distress Oxide. And these are super tiny, so it's a little hard to get them together. And then I think I want to do a light pink frosting. So we'll turn this to the other side so that I don't cross-contaminate the colors. Oops. So I want to do a worn lipstick. I think that was worn lipstick that we used. Yep, worn lipstick top. Do this. I don't think I'm doing too bad on time, guys. This is normally like how long one of my videos are. So I hope that it's not too bad. Hope it's not too long for you guys. Like I said, I like to leave the whole entire process in here to show you guys, you know, my mistakes, because I definitely have made them. So now we have a pink and purple cupcake, and then I want to take the, I'm just going to take this. This is the, what the heck color is this? This one is Wilted Violet. Oh, that was, I'm sorry, that was Shaded Lilac that I used, the purple. This one's Wilted Violet. So this one has more of a, that would make sense. This is more of a violet color. So I'm just going to go around the edges. So now I have just a little white piece, and it just has a little bit of that purple glow on me around the edge. So now what we're going to do, put that off to the side. I'm going to take my Zig 2A glue pen, finally picked up the right one, and we're just going to put this on here. I'll do the purple cupcake bottom with the pink cupcake frosting. And I think that's a super cute birthday card for like a little girl. You could obviously change up the colors and make it for a boy. And I'm not going to put a sentiment on the front of it. I'm going to leave it to potentially put something on the inside. So that is the second card of the day. Really, really light, well, let's see, dots in the backgrounds, and then the excess pattern paper. This was from the, let me show you guys, the faceted turnabout stamp set that I did the other day. Oh, sorry, this light is horrible. I hope that you guys can see this. I hope that it's not too shadowy. I'm so sorry, guys. There we go. I think that's a little bit better. You can see the little dots in the background. This is from the pieces are from the faceted turnabout stamp set, which is a couple, I believe a couple videos back. And then this is it. So here, the same exact design, two totally different looking cards. They obviously, you can tell that they come from the same sketch, but two completely different. This is like the abstract, and then this one has the geometric shapes to it. That one kind of does too, but I think they have two completely different looks to them, and you know, like a boyish card and then a girlish card, or you can change the colors up. There's so many different things you can do from one sketch design. So I hope that you guys play along with this week's MFT challenge. If you do, tag me in it on Instagram or Facebook, and I would love to see what you guys make. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave them below, and I will see you guys again real soon in another crafty video.